This is Never Down, Never Out with T.R. Matson. This podcast is about discipline when motivation fades, resilience when things get hard, and showing up when quitting would be easier. No hype, no shortcuts, just the mindset required to build something real. One day at a time. Let's get into it. Welcome back. Episode 22. Who's ready for a little soapbox? I'm ready to hop on a soapbox and start soapboxing a little bit here this morning. Hope everybody's having a good day. Thanks for tuning back in. Thanks for all the support. I've said it before in the past, but in case you've missed that, right now, the support comes from listening, downloading, subscribing, all that stuff. If you're one of those people that's reached out to me and said, hey, I'd really like to support the show by purchasing something, head on over to trmatson.com. There's some gear over there you can purchase. That is primarily how you could support in that way. So enough of that. I'm not going to waste any more time. I appreciate the support. I'm not here to pitch merchandise. I'm here to talk about some topics and bring some intensity to it. And let's be honest, get on my soapbox, because that's what I do. So here we go. Today's topic, again, we are knee deep. We are waist deep. We are shoulder deep now in this first 30 days. And today's topic is an important one. Why most people stop too soon. Why do people stop too soon? Why do we get to this point and we're about to make that leap? We're about to do something and we stop. And I'm going to give an example of how I came very close to this in my life. But stick with me here. Now, when we're talking about stopping too soon, there's different things we need to think about, right? I'm not talking about like a weight loss goal, although it can apply. But I'm talking, we are one day away from really reaching our terminal velocity, really taking off, and we quit. That being said, what I'm about to talk about also applies to things like weight loss goals, just not as directly. So hear me out. We've spoke before about my air sickness issues in the T-37 in primary training when I was with the Air Force, and it was tough. I'm not going to lie. The physical vomiting was what it was. I mean, frankly, you get a little good at it, if we're being honest. What was really tough was the mental strain it was putting on my body, because flight school is no joke. Anybody who's tried to learn how to fly, I don't care if it's military, civilian, it's irrelevant. Flight school is no joke. It is a tough situation that you're in. There's constant stress. You're putting your body in things. You're trying to learn things. You're trying to memorize things. You're working in a three-dimensional environment that most people are not comfortable in. It's not easy. There's very few people that are just naturally gifted at sitting in an airplane and going, oh, I've lived my whole life in 2 dimensions. Let's add a third. Look at me. I'm God's gift to flying. Very few. So all of this stuff is going on, and my mental capacity was reaching its limit. I mean, I had been challenged before, but I'm now being challenged just like everybody else, and getting sick every day, not completing flights, falling behind, just all of this constant stress that your body's being put under, both physically and mentally and emotionally, everything. It was a mess. And it was the day before my check ride. And I remember vividly sitting in my room. I lived on base. You had a small little 1-bedroom apartment, studio apartment, little eating area. My bed was there. You had to walk through the closet to get to the bathroom, like very small. And I'm sitting there on my bed, and the thought of quitting seriously came across my mind. Like I said, I never told anybody this, so you're hearing it here first. The thought of physically just saying, you know what, I'm done. I'm not going to pass my check ride tomorrow because I'm going to throw up and there's no chance. So why am I wasting my time? Let me go find something else to do in the Navy that I could serve my country and then get out and I could go use my degree and start my life that way. And I sat there and we talked about self-talk a week ago. it was all negative self-talk. There was nothing in my mind at that moment that allowed me to think that I even had a chance. And I sat there and I wasted all this time that I could have been studying, could have been preparing, and I just sat there and I said, that's it. I'm gonna quit. I'm just gonna, tomorrow morning, I know I'm scheduled for a flight. I'll go in, and we called it, the term was DOR, drop on request. I'll just DOR. And that was it. And I went and I got some food, and I was done. I was over it. You know, this didn't work for me. This wasn't my path in life. And I'm driving back onto base after getting food, and I saw a plane in the landing pattern. And for whatever reason, I went over, drove by the flight line, and I just watched planes land. For the first time in as long as I could remember, I just sat in my truck and I watched other people fly. And I could feel something come over me. And I realized I wasn't ready yet. Call it divine intervention, call it my own stubbornness, call it my own stupidity to think that I actually had a chance to achieve this goal. It really doesn't matter what it was, but I was that close. In my mind, it had been hours since I made the decision. I was done. I'm going to drop on request. I was thinking about things I would do in the Navy. And for some reason, sitting there in my truck, watching planes land, I said to myself, no. You are going to have to throw me out of this program. If you don't think that I can handle being a pilot, that's on you. You're going to have to kick me out. I'm not going to give you the satisfaction of doing your job for you. The job of an instructor pilot is to evaluate and instruct. And if there are people that don't fit the qualifications, the learning ability, the mental fortitude to handle this job, their job is to weed them out if they can't teach them and change them. I'm not going to make the instructor's job easy. In fact, I'm going to make it way harder because I'm going to show you what I can do. I'm going to show you something you've never seen before. And that is when I devised my plan on how to not give up the controls in a T-37 and throw up. Now, did I envision I was going to do that upside down in a loop? No, that's more than even I could have envisioned. But I had a plan, and that's when I went back to my room, and I literally, I put on my flight suit, and I figured out exactly where things were, and I had the cockpit layout, so I knew where the air vent was, and I prepared myself. But I was this close. And I think back today, this is 20 plus years ago now. I think back, when I sit here today and I think back, I go, what could have been if I had just given in and quit? My whole life would be different. Now, positive people will be like, hey, it might be better. It might be, but it's pretty darn good. I mean, I can't really ask for anything. Now, there's things I want to achieve. There's things I want to teach my kids. There's the husband I want to be to my wife. There's the person that I want to be to God. There's so many things I want to do, but I would not change anything that's happened to me thus far. But I came so close. And, a lot of people talk about not having regrets and things like that. And I can tell you, at 46 years old, and I know I'm an anomaly here, I don't have regrets. I've been through some hard things. The people that are close to me know. I wouldn't change it for the world because it's made me who I am today. It's made me the person that is sitting here talking to you today that maybe can help you get through something. Maybe that's my whole purpose all along. Maybe my purpose in life had nothing to do with flying airplanes for the Navy. It had nothing to do with being a father, nothing to do with being a husband. Maybe it had to do with getting through to somebody on the internet that is at the end of their rope that needs that spark to push them to go? I don't know. I may never know. But I certainly don't regret any of the decisions or any of the circumstances that have brought me here. But I came that close to a life of regrets, because think about it. If I had just given up that day, if I had just walked in and DOR'd and I'm done, I would have always wondered. I would have always thought to myself, what if I hadn't? What if I hadn't given up on a dream? What could I have been? And that's the crazy part about life. Most people have those moments. Most people have given up on things. That's not abnormal. But just because you've done it in the past doesn't mean that you have to do it again in the future. Break that trend. The only way that you are going to continue to achieve your goals is if you get the idea of quitting out of your mind. It doesn't exist. I'm locked onto a target and I'm going, period. You're going to have to kill me in order to stop me, because my goal is to achieve whatever it is. A new job, pass a class, mend a relationship, lose weight, financial freedom, whatever we've talked about, it doesn't matter. I am locked onto that target. And I'm going, period. And you can't stop me. And I certainly won't help you. It's hard. I was at the end of my rope. I was looking for a lifeline in my truck that day. I was done. All hope was lost. In my mind, I was destined to throw up every time I got into an airplane. And that is no way to be a pilot. But I didn't quit. And I have no idea why. But I do know that I'm here to tell you that most people do. Most people, when it gets right to that point, when it's really hard, they want to be comfortable. And their mind takes over. And they think to themselves, why am I doing this? This is stupid. I'm done. And they walk. It's all mental self-doubt. It's our minds and controlling the space between our ears is what separates us from success and failure, from continuing and quitting. It's that simple. I wish I knew it when I was younger. I probably would have figured out how to throw up in an airplane way earlier and gotten over it. If you can control your mind, if you can live in a headspace where nobody in there lives rent-free, those people are evicted. Those thoughts are evicted. If you can live in that headspace, you will continue to push forward towards your goal when it gets right to that moment, right to that decision. And I know I'm giving the example here of what's seemingly a grandiose event that changed my life as an aviator, but it doesn't have to be that big. Sometimes it's all the little things. We've talked about this. Sometimes it's all the little decisions you make. I want to lose weight. I'm going to eat right, period. Done. Diet plan. Good. Going to go work out. Got this. Cool. 2 days from now. Man, I'm hungry. Man, I am hungry right now. I could probably, let me just get something right now. I'm not going to quit. Let me just get something right now. And now we're Controlling your headspace in those moments is massively important for success. Every one of us has the capability to do that, but it takes active work every day. It's not going to happen naturally. You're not going to just go, you know what? I've listened to T.R. Matson on the Never Down, Never Out podcast and click, I'm fixed. No, because I'm not fixed. I struggle with it every day. Goals I have, this podcast in and of itself. It is a constant thought process of taking positive steps forward, and when things don't seem like they're working, that's when you take another step. That's the most important step you can take. Because if you stop, then you will regret it forever, whatever it is. And a life of regrets is no way to live. Now, if you're listening to this and you have regrets, if you have a list of them in your brain, that's fine. It happens. Flush it. Stop looking back at them. That's not you anymore. You have the ability today to change and not be that person that stops too soon. You have the ability today to break that chain and go, enough is enough. I'm sick of losing. I want to win. And the only way I'm going to win is if I keep going. Because at some point, you have to look at yourself and go, I'm tired of being second place. I'm tired of watching people on social media or in my social circles or my family be successful, and it's never me. I'm tired of that. I'm over it. Today's the day I make a change. Sometimes it's just as simple as saying those words to yourself. I'm tired of being second place. I'm not stopping this time. Sometimes that's enough. We're always looking for some massively complex solution to a problem. But sometimes the solution is simple. It's one more step. But I can't step. Then crawl. It doesn't matter. Just keep moving forward. Sometimes it's that simple. You are looking at a goal today. You may be somebody, as you're listening to this, that is right on that edge. It's your DOR moment. And I'm here to tell you, don't quit. Quit tomorrow. Don't quit today. Quit tomorrow. And when you wake up tomorrow, quit tomorrow. And keep doing that for a little while. And you'll be surprised at how successful you can be. Thank you again for tuning in. We'll talk soon. If this episode helped you, don't just listen, apply it. Progress is built in what you do after the message ends. Remember, never down, never out. I'll see you tomorrow.